Ha guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Draymond Green vigorously defends Warriors front office after off-season criticism. The Golden State Warriors' inability to pull off a blockbuster trade has drawn significant criticism this off-season, having tried but failed in their pursuits of all-star forwards Paul George and Lauri Markkanen. Even the recent Karl-Anthony Towns trade to the New York Knicks has shown a light on the Warriors' lack of activity, but veteran forward Draymond Green still believes general manager Mike Dunleavy Jr. did an incredible job in retooling the roster this off-season. Speaking at Media Day on Monday, Green gave a huge endorsement to Dunleavy and the patience shown in recent months, stating that sometimes the best deal you can make is to not make a deal. It's a testament to Mike Dunleavy Jr. and who he is as a basketball mind. Green said in most situations you see someone panic and they make a move that sets them back for 5 years. One move in this It can pretty much set you up for how the next 10 years of your organization is going to go. Some fans and analysts have been critical of Golden State's inability to pair Stephen Curry with a second offensive star, with few believing the current roster is capable of a return to their one former glory atop the NBA mountaintop. The Warriors will now rely heavily on significant improvement from their young players, having proven unwilling to meet the significant demand set by the Jazz for Markkanen, who ultimately renegotiated and extended his contract in Utah. Green revealed to the Club 520 podcast in July that he urged the front office away from a trade that he considered a bad one for the organization from a long-term perspective. Whether that was in relation to Mark or another player is unknown. Dunleavy preached patience during a press conference last week, yet also conceded that the Warriors are probably as impatient as you can be as a franchise right now. That would suggest a move could still be on the horizon for Golden State mid-season, particularly if the team fails to get off to the start they're looking for. The Warriors have been linked to Miami Heat All-Star forward Jimmy Butler in recent weeks. While there's no secret of the franchise's desire to get their hands on Giannis Onmo if the 2x MVP ever wants out from the Milwaukee Bucks. 2024 Warriors player previews. Reece Beekman. The Golden State Warriors still haven't made their final decisions on who will ultimately receive the team's two-way contracts, but right now one of those spots belongs to Reece Beekman, the University of Virginia guard who was the ACC Defensive Player of the Year 2 years running. He didn't get drafted, but it wasn't for want of putting up big defensive numbers. That tweet is from 2023, but don't worry, Beekman had 212 assists, 68 steals and 17 blocks in his senior year at Virginia as well. Those block numbers aren't huge, but it's impressive considering Beekman measured at 6'1.25" in barefoot at the draft combine. He also has a 6'6" in wingspan and a 3-foot vertical leap. Basically, Beekman is a good athlete and he racks up a lot of stocks, steals plus blocks. So why was a defensive marvel like Beekman, who won the ACC POY over his Cavalier teammate Ryan Dunn, number 28 pick to the Phoenix Suns, not the legendary Jackass star available as an undrafted free agent? It's because until his senior year Beekman didn't crack 10 points per game. He dished the ball without committing many turnovers, but Virginia's slow-paced, ponderous offense didn't exactly say NBA ready. Last season he upped his scoring to 14.3 points per game and his assists to 6.2 per game. He shot 48.7% from the field and from three-point range. He was a really good defensive guard. Beekman made 31% of his shots behind the arc, not great for the shorter college line. Granted, he did that for a team with very little spacing. Dunn shot 20% from deep, but it's tough to make it in the NBA as a sub-6'2" guard who doesn't shoot threes. In the Joe LaCabara, their Warriors have brought in players from Michigan State, North Carolina, UCLA, Kansas, Michigan and Indiana. Back in 2022 they gave a two-way deal to another UVA point guard, Ty Jerome. Perhaps because Steve Kerr runs a fairly complicated offensive system, the team looks for players from colleges with systems, or they want players familiar with a coach who may arbitrarily award or take away playing time. Realistic mock trade sees Knicks sending Mitchell Robinson to Warriors. The Warriors are heading into the 2024-2 NBA season hoping to compete. The team is tough heavy, but they need to make certain moves to solidify themselves as competitors. The coach talked about the team wanting to add a big man in the past. The search for a big man should continue, especially with players reportedly wanting to play alongside another big man as well. The New York Knicks shook up the NBA by acquiring Karl Anthony Towns on Saturday, proving that the team is fully committed to winning a championship as quickly as possible. Towns was a necessity for the franchise's center. Mitchell Robinson is expected to be out until December 2024. Robinson, the longest tenor Nick, will have his value diminished as a one-dimensional bench big who may not be what the franchise needs in its setup current and is supposedly on the swap block. The Lakers also receive young Pakam Diate and a potential backup guard in campaign to further bolster the value of the deal, while the Knicks received salary filler along with multi-positional Vanderbilt. Anthony Davis's best season as a Lakers player was his freshman year in 2019-2 when he was selected to the All-NBA first team and was instrumental in the franchise's quest for an NBA championship that season. A crucial aspect of Davis's durability and performance that season was that he played alongside JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard at power forward. After an injury-plagued 2020-21 season, the Lakers decided to move Davis to be the team's full-time center, which increased the defensive and offensive burden on the big man. Mitchell Robinson isn't a scorer, but neither were Howard or McGee. Mitch Robinson, aged 5.6 points, 8.5 rebounds, 1.2 steals and 1.1 blocks last season, providing versatile defense and tough rebounding. His archetype is exactly what the Warriors need to move back to power forward and put him at 5 in a specific lineup or as an injured reserve. Robinson's unavailability to start the season means Warriors will have to wait a few months before the cavalry arrives to lighten their load. Campaign averaged 7.4 points, 1.5 rebounds and 2.6 assists with the Milwaukee Bucks and Philadelphia 76ers last season. It's not complicated why the Warriors would want to take a flyer on a tenacious on-ball defender after a season where their defense was decidedly mediocre and the team had trouble getting steals, finishing 23rd in the league. And you fan, what do you think of the situation of Mitchell Robinson? Leave your opinion in the comments.